If we're really on all the channels yet. Oh, there's a little eyeball, so that's cool.
All right. Hopefully this will come up quick here.
Boom, boom, boom. Nothing. We're going nowhere fast. Oh, there's one. So we must be live now.
We are live.
No. So can you go to my page?
Are we?
How about just go to my page? Nope. The page. Just hit. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Here we are.
Share. So we're sharing tonight. We think we figured out what happened last week, guys. We were trying to stream in way too many places. Yep. Can you do? Oh, just. Yep. Oh no, you don't want to do that.
Right.
Just don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's fine. It is what it is. Okay, we're good.
All right.
Sorry, guys. We're having a lot of difficulties today, to be honest with you. I was doing a 10-minute thermostat change for our new Wi-Fi thermostat. That turned into an all-day project, and I'm still a mess. But here we are.
Hi, Marlene and Claudia, and hello, Carolyn. Lori Beth from North Carolina, and Facebook user. I cannot see your name.
Okay. Oh, hi. Can you see my name? No, we can't see your name.
But hello.
But that's okay. If you're in the group, that's a private group. Therefore, this program does not show your name. But that's okay. We know you're here, so that's good.
Yeah.
So we have two things that we have to do tonight. We're going to show you how to make a really easy mushroom gravy. I think it's the simplest gravy out there. I also think it's the best, but that's because it's mine. I was a huge gravy guy back in the day, especially this time of year. So that's why we decided to go ahead and show you. Also, the other thing we're going to do is talk about Thanksgiving. Some people are old pros at this. Some people are freaked out. I know we were freaked out. We were freaked out for two reasons. Reason number one, when we went to people's house, we were freaked out. Reason number two, when people were coming to our house, also freaked out. So we're going to take care of all that. But before we do that, hello, I am Tim Kaufman.
I'm Heather Kaufman.
And we run a page called Fat Man Rants. And together, we have lost 290 pounds. But more importantly, we've regained our health. We live a healthy, happy, and active life on a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. We come to you guys on Sunday nights around 8 o'clock, depending on if the furnace is working or not.
Or other things.
Because we know what we did was just a choice. There's nothing magical. We're not that special. We're kind of silly sometimes. But we know that this is out there for anyone that wants it. We know if we can do it.
You can too.
You can.
And hello, Lauren.
Yes. So I think, boom, boom. Okay. So what I did is I just pinned the website, the web page that we're going to cook tonight. I just posted it. The recipe, the instructions are a little bit wonky because my proofreader didn't catch that it put numbers on everything.
Oh.
But we're going to fix that real quick. You'll get the idea anyways. There's just some extra numbers that shouldn't be there. All that said,
you should get crack-a-lackin'.
Crack-a-lackin'. We're still trying to get this whole live thing spruced up a bit. We hope that we're not blurry. We probably
I was just going to ask that. Are we blurry tonight or are we clear? I'm going to try to.
Well, I mean, we should be more clear. We should be more clear.
Hi, Maria. We love you too.
We were trying to stream to way too many places. Okay, I should probably get going right now.
You should. Yes, you should.
You see how I switch this? Because this is going to be your job next week.
Where's my job?
Okay, see that little arrow?
Ah, yes.
Do that.
Okay.
And there's that catch. Oh, look how pretty it looks.
All right. I'm going to try to share this again to the one spot. We'll see if it works.
Okay. So could you hand me the microphone?
Yes, I can.
We're going to give this a little spin. Hopefully everyone can hear me. You guys are actually on top of my refrigerator now. Sorry about putting you. They're like the elf on the shelf. That's funny, Heather. Okay. I have my induction plate. We got rumored that we're going to have electricity in this island next week. So the first thing I'm going to do, I have a medium onion. I'm putting a little bit of extra onion in here, but I'm going to put, Heather, was this 1 cup of water? I'm going to start with a cup of water.
1 cup of water.
And I'm going to very kind of finely dice my red onion. I peeled them ahead of time so you guys didn't have to wait. And I'm not going to do them that finely because we don't have all night. And I know you guys got stuff to do too. And I should have got my better knife because this knife is ridiculously dull. Do you know dull knives are actually dangerous? Heather, did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah. I looked in the dishwasher and my good knife wasn't in there. So this is...
I'm sure it's in the drawer behind you.
This is awful. Absolutely awful. Oh, I'm going to turn on my... Sorry about all the beeps. Hopefully that sound isn't too bad. Is it, Heather?
No. I don't think so.
Because it's blowing right in the thing. I'm going to go ahead and leave this onion out. So my recipe says finely. These are more coarse than fine, but they'll take a little bit longer to cook, but that's okay. So I have some onion, some water. My mushrooms are a little bit big. If you want them big, that's fine. I'm just going to run my knife right through these real quick like this. My extra dull knife.
The Christmas tree's up, but it's not totally decorated yet. It's up. It's a start.
All right, so my mushrooms are in there. And then the only other thing I have to put in here, so I have my onions, my mushrooms, a cup of water, and I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of liquid aminos in here. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The gravy flavor comes from the liquid aminos with the nutritional yeast together, and then we're going to jazz it up with some other spices. So I have 1 cup of water, 1 medium onion, and an 8-ounce pack of mushrooms, along with 2 tablespoons of liquid aminos. What I'm going to do to kind of speed things up is put a cover over this. Normally, I tell you guys don't overcook the veggies. Leave a little snap to them. This is one exception where we're going to cook them down a little bit more than we normally would because we don't want big chunks in our gravy. We really want this to go beyond translucent. We want to get them soft and kind of mushy. Not all the way mushy, but enough that they don't like crunch in the gravy because that would be weird. So while this is going, I'm going to start working on the second part of the gravy. And some people will call this a slurry. I guess we're going to call it a slurry on steroids. I like to keep things super easy, and I don't like lumps in my gravy. So I've learned to do it this way. I don't know who showed me. I think I just started doing it, mostly out of laziness. So we need to get...
Katie says yum to the gravy.
Yeah. So this induction plate is pretty cool because it's almost instant. Okay, so while this is cooking down, that already smells delicious, by the way, I'm going to make what I call my slurry. Most of the time, we call it a slurry because we're putting cornstarch and water together. If you pre-mix it before you put it in, that'll help you not get lumps. I put everything in my slurry because it's all going in the same place anyways. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with 3 cups. Today I have unsweetened almond milk. Feel free to use unsweetened whatever, oat milk, whatever you have. And yeah, plant milk, obviously. And don't be afraid to make your own milk. We used to do that back in the day. It's pretty easy to make oat milk or rice milk. But I'm going to put 3 without spilling it. 2, 3. All right, so there's my 3 cups of plant milk. This happens to be almond milk.
Someone wants to know if they can substitute coconut aminos for the liquid aminos.
Absolutely, and I think it'd be less sodium too.
And the recipe is in there already, correct?
Yeah, I actually printed this off the website. So it's pinned to the comments. So it's the top comment. That'll take you to the website. But don't leave just yet because we got to talk to you guys. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to do one 1 teaspoon of garlic powder.
Hello,
And
Joyce.
again, this is all going into my slurry. So I have 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. I have a half a teaspoon of black pepper. We're just going to cheat and not measure that. I like more pepper in my gravy, but some people do not. Then I have to do 1, these are huge, sorry, 1 teaspoon of poultry seasoning. If you're not a fan like some people, you can cut this a little bit, but I think it makes a really nice gravy flavor. And I'm going to tell you guys a funny story about poultry seasoning. When we first went plant-based, Heather thought that poultry seasoning actually had chicken in it. There's no chicken. It's just a blend of nice spices, so you don't have to do it separately. I'm turning this down because I don't want to lose all my moisture out of here, so I'm just going to turn it down and leave the cover on. Then I have to get a 1/4 cup of nooch. This is going to give you that really savory taste for the gravy. I have to do 1 tablespoon, which I have this grandma's. This is grandma's. And what am I missing? I think I have everything. I think I have water running everywhere too, though. That's everything. Yes? Bop, bop, bop. The cornstarch. Yeah, that's the most important part. So here is my cornstarch. If you like extra thick gravy, you're going to do 4. You're going to do 4 tablespoons. We're going to do ours on the thinner side. If you're making this ahead of time, definitely make it on the thinner side because it will thicken up. And then when you reheat it, it'll kind of thin back out. So I'm just giving this a little stir. It's starting to cook down. I should have cut my onions thinner. Okay. So I'm going to do 1. That's big. 2, 3. All right. So I have all my spices. I have my nooch. Everything is in here, which is great because you're going to see why I'm doing that in a minute. I got a little bit of a flood going here.
All right.
We don't want to flood. Okay, I'm giving this a stir. I wish we had a second. So my veggies, I can see my onions are getting translucent. They're really cooking down nice. I did lose probably more moisture in here than I wanted to. So here's my slurry with all the fixins. And I'm going to zap this really quick. I wish you guys could see me pour this in.
I can see the mushroom. I can see the mushrooms.
Sorry, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and very slowly add my slurry in. Say that 7 times fast. All right, here we go. I got to make sure that I stir this constantly because what's going to happen, this is not going to thicken up right away because I have so much liquid in here that's cold. It actually just came out of the fridge. So I'm going to turn this back up, but I'm going to be real careful that it doesn't burn on the bottom of the pan. So that's going to take a minute to heat back up. And there's a little pro tip for this. If you want a really nice dark gravy, what I've done in the past is instead of putting the water in first, I'll put the onions in first and almost like sear them a little bit. And you'll get that if you put the onions and liquid aminos in first and kind of brown them up, not quite burn them, but almost burn them. Then put your water in. That'll give you a really nice, like deeper brown than this. This will be good. But so you can see already it's starting to thicken. I don't know if you guys can see. Can you see this in there?
I can see you stirring it. I can see the mushrooms. I can see the steam
Okay.
coming off it.
All right, so it's starting to thicken pretty quick on the bottom. Again, I'm working with an induction plate here, so the bottom is getting really hot really fast, and it's already thickening. So what am I putting this in? We didn't even think about that.
Nope, we didn't.
You don't want to leave this, especially at this point. this is going to thicken and it's going to scorch really, really fast. So it's getting there fast. You can already see a big change in it. In fact, I'm going to turn this down because I'm starting to get panicked a little bit. Oh, and we're going to make a mess. All right. I'm almost going to take this out. Oh. You want me to put that in there? Seriously?
You asked for something.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna make a mess. All right. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can they see that on the camera?
Yes.
I mean,
You guys can see it, right?
This is perfect.
And the name of the recipe was Savory Vegan Mushroom Gravy. The recipe's already on there.
Yeah, just go right to the website. It's the first recipe you come to. Okay, that's it. What did that take? Like 5 minutes? 10 minutes? All right, you want me to try to get that in there?
Yep.
I got an idea. I'm going to cheat. This is how we do it right here. I'm cheating.
Gravy thing. Whatever it's called.
I think it's called a boat.
Gravy boat. That's it.
All right. I'm trying not to make a mess. Now, see, you guys will be able to see in a minute. But what happened is because we cooked the onions really good, they kind of melted away in the gravy and it left just the mushrooms. And it looks quite lovely. Now, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
They said they
Can
can see
you help
it.
me?
Okay. Yeah. Great.
You guys see
they
that?
can see it. Marlene says she can see it. Karen says it looks delicious.
But can you smell it? This smells delicious. And by the way, this is a pile of gravy. I probably could fill this about 4 or 5 times. And it's really not, other than the sodium that's in it, this is a really like low calorie kind of, and it's great. We put it on everything.
In green bean casserole.
Yep. I'm going to
mashed
talk
potatoes.
about that.
Okay. Oh, can I try to switch it over?
In a second. And just so you know,
Okay.
this is not the touchscreen computer.
Okay, it's not the touch screen.
So you could use the
bring
pad.
that
You
over.
can use the pad.
No, we gotta go up there, right?
You can use the pad. No, click. Well,
I did it. All right.
But the microphone.
No, you can't smell it. And yes, Tammy, a little dried parsley on there would look beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So here's the thing. Once you have that gravy, sky's the limit.
Yep.
We put it on tofu, obviously potatoes, and you can make
definitely
your green bean casserole out of it too.
Yep.
So that's a really good base for everything. It's quick, it's easy, it's simple, and I think it's pretty basic ingredients.
Cindy, you make our Sunday night too, all of you. We really enjoy doing this, and I'm glad we can be back here and able to talk to all you guys.
Sometimes, we should be honest, sometimes we enjoy doing it. Most of the time. But sometimes somebody decides to start a project.
And that ain't me.
But we have heat.
So we're always running a little behind until I say, one of us says it's time to get moving or crack-a-lackin'.
Which usually is about an hour ahead. But all that said, there's the gravy recipe. Super easy. We just started with some onions and mushrooms, cooked them down in some water. And then we basically made a slurry of cornstarch. The rule of thumb that I usually follow is 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to every cup of liquid. That's a really good way. If you want to cut that in half, you would just make sure that there's 2 cups of liquid and 2 tablespoons. So 1 tablespoon to 1 cup of liquid is usually what I use as a good guide. Is it perfect? Not all the time, but then you can adjust from there. It's a good ballpark for sure. Yes. And this is true for when you're doing cream soups or anything like that.
All right.
Okay. So we need to talk about not just Thanksgiving, but the whole holiday season.
Right.
I want so bad, guys. I want so bad to do one on how to stay focused and not sabotage yourself through the holidays. That's what I want to do. But before we get to that, maybe we'll do that next week.
Let's do that next week.
Because it's hard. it's hard. You work so hard to get where you are. You don't want to undo it. I had one friend that lost a substantial amount of weight. And I remember he told me for about 2 years, he would be perfect through the week. He'd go to work. He had his routine. He did really good for 5 days. And on the weekend, he would just blow it. And he literally on the 2 days on the weekend would undo his 5 days of work. And he said he got into that cycle for 2 years till one day he said, the weekends to me are going to be more important than the weekdays. And he turned it around.
Nice.
And lost 200 pounds.
Nice.
And ran Leadville.
Awesome.
It's Gary stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, scary. All right.
I haven't talked to him in a while. So, okay. So listen, before we go, next week we'll talk about self-sabotage through the holidays. It's easy because all the foods that you don't normally have in the house or usually cook, they're everywhere. And they call you. Well, they call me. I don't know if they call everyone else.
They call you, yes. But there are ways around that.
Which we'll talk about next week.
Yes.
This week, I know for both me and you, we were outright afraid this time of year.
Right. Yeah.
It ran right into we were afraid to travel because we didn't know what to do. Like we felt like we got, anxious about where are we going to find food? Are we going to starve? What are we going to eat? So let's talk about that first. Do you still feel afraid when you go somewhere to eat?
No.
Not at all.
Nope. Because we bring a dish to pass.
Yeah, or if we're going to a wedding, which has happened to us a couple times this year, I think one of the things that can really calm you, I know this is awful to say, but I'm just being real, you don't have to eat. You don't have to. I mean, if you go to a wedding and there's absolutely nothing there, you don't have to eat. It's not the end of the world. Like you can eat when you get home or before.
And, well, that's what I was just going to say. If you're pretty sure that there is definitely not going to be something there for you to eat, then you eat before you go and, eat some good filling food before you go there. And sometimes they will accommodate you.
Yeah, but I think
if you just, ask for something, even if it's just a salad with no dressing so at least you have something. But yes, you don't have to eat.
Right. But so let's talk about especially like the holidays going over for family. So you would assume that you don't have to ask the chef for a special meal because it's family.
Right.
But so let's talk about family. There's a few things that I know that we have done with my family. Where I grew up, my mom would make mashed potatoes and they were about 1-to-1. What I mean by that is they were 1 part mashed potatoes, 1 part butter. My mom was not exaggerating. So she put butter, milk, anything that was awful in the potatoes. So one thing that helped us, because bringing potatoes to mom's house, I think she considered that an insult. So what we would do is say, hey, before you add everything into the potatoes, could you just take a couple dishes out for us?
Right.
That's one thing. And guys, don't let us do this on our own. Please help us. Put your best advice, because people will read this after the fact. Put your best advice of how to deal with going to family and friends and having family and friends over to your house. Help us out so you don't have to listen to us yep for the next 4.5 hours.
4.5 hours? I don't think so. It's almost bedtime.
So that's one really good way. Like, hey, if before you put the marshmallows and butter on the sweet potatoes, just pull a couple out for me. I don't think that's a big ask.
Well, and back to the dish to pass. I mean, if you have it at your home, then you can just tell them this is what you're going to have, and they can bring their own dishes, but this is what you will have available. And a lot of times they'll bring maybe an extra dish, but then they'll actually try your dishes as well and find out that they really like them, like especially the gravy.
Yeah. So, and I think, you just covered a whole bunch of stuff really fast, but so aside from asking them to modify whatever they're making, obviously the dish that you're going to bring is going to be whole food, plant-based, and worst case scenario, that's what you're eating. But you know what? We missed one huge point at the beginning, because especially my students, they always know, what do you eat at Thanksgiving, Kaufman? like you don't eat animal products, what do you possibly eat? I got to be honest with you.
We eat a lot.
In my opinion, Thanksgiving is the easiest holiday to be plant-based. Literally, you can have everything on that table except the turkey, especially if you have your own mushroom gravy.
Yes.
Everything on the table is so easy to make healthy. I mean, you're eating potatoes, sweet potatoes, yams, squash, green beans, corn. This is all stuff that we eat every single day, right? So it doesn't have to be a freak out point. Like it's you just have to modify a little bit, and it's really not much. It's not as hard as you think.
Right.
Okay, so first of all, it's not as hard as you think. Second of all, have the dishes modified. Call your loved ones, whatever. Now, as we went on, there were other issues that came in. And I think one of the big issues is as we got, I don't want to say better, but as time went on, we decided we're not making a turkey. I think early on, we wanted to accommodate our family when we first went plant-based, and we would make a turkey and just not eat it. And, as our journey progressed, we learned more, about the animals and, our values. We said, you know what? You can come over to our house, but we're not going to make turkey, but we're going to make everything else, and it's going to be delicious. And we're going to make tofu instead of turkey. And, we can't tell you not to bring turkey in the house, but we're not going to cook it. So this house we've been in 10 years. I don't think we've ever had any meat in that oven, ever, which is kind of cool.
Yes.
And we're still alive. Believe it or not, we're still alive. So yeah, tell us in the comments, what's your number one tip for getting through the holidays with regard to food?
That's great, Kim. She says her kids come and they cook, and it's been all whole food plant-based for the last few years. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Have people over to help you cook. That's great. And then they can see as they're cooking what can be used in place of animal products.
Lori, you tell me where to be, and I want to try look at these are all my favorite things. Hot artichoke dip with cashew base. Wow. Oh my gosh. I need that. I need that stuff. That sounds delicious. I love artichokes and I love cashews.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. So that sounds great. And maybe we'll do that in the group. Maybe like right now, as soon as we end this, and the Getting Healthy to group, I'm going to say, give us your favorite, Thanksgiving dish. And people will post recipes and stuff, which is great. Yes.
Awesome.
So any other tips?
Bring a dish to pass. Ask someone to help. Bring a dish to pass. Ask the host to put some food aside. Have it at your house. Make it for other people.
Yeah, I mean, having it at your house is probably the safest bet because you have, when you're cooking, but it's a lot more work.
Right, and I think we've gone over everything.
Yeah, but there's a psychological aspect we probably should just brush on really quick, because I think sometimes, for us growing up, the holidays, number one thing was food. Like that's why you got together.
Right.
And the truth is, like, now that I'm an old man, I realize that that's not the reason. It's not to get so stuffed that you have to crawl under the table and go in a coma. That's not the point. The point is to be together, to be grateful and thankful for everything that you have, and spend time with loved ones.
Right.
And that's, so I know that sounds weird, a psychological aspect to this, but stop focusing on the food all the time and focus on the people.
Right, because I hate to say it, but you don't know who will be there next year.
Yeah, I feel like our family's getting smaller every single year. And you don't know sitting at that table if the people you're hanging out with are going to be there next year. And we've been experiencing this over and over and over. So, it's okay to push away the turkey and push away all those, cakes and pies and just spend time with loved ones. I think, that's kind of at the heart of all this, really.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't have anything else.
Oh, Angie, that's nice. Her neighborhood has a 5K Thanksgiving morning. I go with my dog, and it's been such a wonderful way to start the day. That's awesome, Angie.
That's actually good advice all the way
Mhm.
around. Me and Chef AJ were talking about that once. By if you work out right away in the morning, it kind of sets the whole tone for the day. And I don't know. I don't know if Katie's still watching, but so because usually I talk about my brother-in-law and I don't mention his name, AJ. I would never do that. But so I have this brother-in-law. He's a big old bodybuilder. And I remember, like, he didn't even realize it was a big compliment to me, but I'll never forget. He came over to our house and we put on this huge spread. I mean, we went all out, not like we do now. Like we went all out, and we had this whole house full of food. And he got done eating, and he looked at me and he said, "You know what? I'm stuffed, but I don't feel gross. It's a different kind of stuff." And I'm like, "Yes." That's it.
Mhm.
And that had to be 8 years ago. To this day, I remember that. And I thought that was such a big compliment. I'm stuffed, but I don't feel gross. The truth is, gravy is all full of drippings and crap that gives you, indigestion and heartburn. The
Mhm.
mushroom gravy is some almond milk. It's literally like cereal.
Oh,
It's
no,
not,
no.
but it tastes delicious.
Especially if you don't like mushrooms. I know there's someone out there.
Yeah, there's
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
if she's
people.
watching tonight,
There's a lot
but
of
I know
people
somebody doesn't like
that don't
mushrooms.
like mushrooms, but that's okay. You could just do
But
it.
yeah, I
So
was just gonna ask that.
we did a garden gravy.
Garden gravy.
I think it's in our cookbook, which by the way, you can go to fatmanranch.com and get it for free. There's a free PDF download. I think there's something in there called garden gravy because I had some folks that hated mushrooms. And basically, you know what it is? Honestly, just swap out the mushrooms with green peppers and you'll have a
Mhm.
lovely garden gravy. And it'll still be savory. It'll still taste good if you're not into mushrooms.
For you, Sue, if you're watching tonight.
No, Sue, and there's a lot of people I
I
found out
know.
don't like mushrooms. But anyways, with that said,
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
yeah,
Have a great week.
and listen, sometimes we go through crap in life. I get that. We're going through a little spell right now, and it's hard to not walk around looking like you swallowed a lemon. But you know what? Gratitude was actually the first domino that tipped. Everyone recognizes me as the plant-based person that turned his life around, but really what they should recognize me for is finding gratitude because that kicked off my journey long before food. So my point is, whether you're going through crap, loss, sickness, whatever it is, I know it's not easy, but I can tell you this: if you put your mind to it and you work hard and you search for things to be grateful for, it's life changing. It will change your day and it will change your life. So work hard on finding things. There's so many things around us to be grateful for that we just don't take the time to recognize.
Mhm.
So all that said, be grateful. If you have to, look hard for gratitude. Flip rocks over until you find something to be grateful for. All that said, until next time,
Eat plants.
move your body.
All you got to do is a little more than you did yesterday.
And we'll see you guys real soon.